Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be updating one of this channel's most popular videos, and that is how I heal my tattoos using second skin. My very first video that I posted on this topic was my very first experience with second skin, so if you're interested in seeing kind of like a vlog throughout my week of healing my tattoo with the second skin, I'll leave that linked down below. Be sure to check that out. But just know going into it, this is a 18-year-old who has never used it before bumbling through it, whereas this video is going to be a little bit more comprehensive, coming from somebody who uses this method to heal my tattoos regularly. So this video is featuring my newest tattoo, this deer tattoo here. It's done by Sarah from Northwest Tattoo. She's actually the same artist who did the Ouija board planchette hand from the original second skin video. So I'll be sure to link her Instagram down below. She actually saw that previous video, so she's probably gonna see this one. If so, hi Sarah, thank you so much, you're awesome. And let's just get right on into it. Healing your tattoos with second skin or a similar tattoo covering have come into popularity over the last couple of years. Definitely when I first started getting tattoos, it was kind of new on the market. And then over the years, it's become the #1 way that I heal my tattoos. The majority of my tattoos have been healed using this method, and the few that have not, whether it be because of where I got them on my body, the artist that did them, the healing method, what have you, they just didn't heal as well, and they do need some pretty intense touch-ups. I don't know if that's just a me and my sensitive skin thing, but definitely coincidental that this healing method has saved a lot of my really big, expensive travel tattoos from needing to get touch-ups. So I'm a big fan of the tattoo wrap healing method because I do travel for pretty much all of my tattoos. Minimum, my usual tattoos I'll go to Eugene for, and that's about 3 hours away from me. And then some of my tattoos, I have one from Vegas, I have some from Hawaii. So for my healing methods, I need it to be something that I can travel with and sometimes travel on a plane for without being able to change wrappings for hours on end. This method works super well for that. It's a breathable film that goes over your tattoo, and it's similar to Tegaderm, which I've used in the past as well, which is more for burn victims and like big areas of skin that need to be covered as they heal. So it's easy to find if you don't have second skin at your disposal through your tattoo artist. You can find something similar in the drugstore to replace that, and you'll get similar, if not the exact same effects. It's just a different application depending on which brand you go with. Depending on what your artist typically recommends as their preferred healing method, you may or may not be given the option of a tattoo wrap at the shop. For artists who use second skin or something similar, they'll typically put an application on your tattoo right before you leave, and then send you home with a little baggie of trimmings for when you need to switch your wrap in a couple days. Artists who don't use this as their recommended method will just wrap your tattoo as normal, and that's when you're going to want to go to a CVS, Walgreens, some other drugstore to get Tegaderm or something similar to then apply it yourself. If you're not sent home with a tattoo wrap and it's just your cling wrap, personally, I just let it sit for that first 24 hours because your body, as I'm sure you're used to if you've had tattoos before, is going to be pushing out all of that extra ink and plasma, and it's going to get really goopy and really gross. If you already have a tattoo wrap applied, they would recommend switching it out to fresh ones to continue healing your tattoo after the first 24 hours. And that's just to kind of let your tattoo ooze. If you're having to go out and get the tattoo wrap yourself, I just let it do its thing for the first 24 hours. I clean it really well, and then I apply it for the next 5 to 7 days. You have your second skin on from the tattoo shop, you're going about your day, 24 hours goes by and it's time to take it off. The easiest way to do this is to kind of pick at it at the edges until you can get a good handle. And then you're going to want to go pretty slow. It's not one of those like rip it off like a band-aid situations. You're going to want to gently stretch away from the skin. That's what I've found to be the least painful. Overall, taking these bandages off doesn't hurt too much. In more sensitive areas, it can be a little bit touch and go, but it's honestly not too bad as long as you go slow, grab onto it, and then you want to pull parallel so it kind of stretches off instead of pulling off. What I've also done in the past on particularly touchy or tough spots is if you go in the shower, take a nice hot shower, let it kind of soak up the heat. It can loosen the adhesive and you can get it off pretty easily that way as well. When you're taking off your initial wrapping, like I said, it's going to be gross. Your body's been pushing out all of that excess plasma and ink, so make sure that you have some paper towels under you to catch any leakage, and that this wrapping is disposed of in a garbage can that maybe only you handle, or you put it in a plastic bag and tie it off before you throw it away, just because it is sensitive and technically biohazard, just because it has that plasma in it. So you're going to want to make sure to take care of it in a respectful way depending on the household that you have. After the bandage is off, you're going to want to clean it really, really well the way you usually do, just an unscented antibacterial soap and some lukewarm water, and make sure that everything's nice and clean. And then I pat it dry with a paper towel, just because paper towels typically a little bit more sanitary than the towel that's been hanging in your bathroom for weeks. And then I'll go ahead and apply my second set of the bandages. So as far as applying second skin or something similar goes, it's easiest to do it with two people, just because the way that your body is stretched and where the tattoo is can be a little bit difficult sometimes. For the majority of my tattoos, they're on my legs, and while they do wrap, I've never had to deal with kind of going over a shoulder cap until now. So for the two tattoos on my arms, trying to replace that shoulder cap was a little bit weird. But if you have a person who's willing to help you, that's awesome. It's probably best. So for the second skin in particular, the way it's set up is they come in different sizes of rectangular sheets, and your artist will give you those sizes as accordingly. And then it has the middle seam where it has the wavy blue lines, and there's also a secondary seam on one of the shorter ends of the rectangle where the backing is split. So before I even start, I like to crack those bindings, so crack the middle with the waves and I crack the end with the seam so that it's easy to pull the backing off, and it's also going to be already cracked and easy to pull the plastic off. That's the nice but also difficult thing about second skin, is they add that plastic film on the front to make it nice and easy to place, because once it's placed it's pretty hard to readjust, but it can be a little bit difficult if you don't crack that backing beforehand to get a grip on that and peel it off. So once you have prepped your piece, you're going to put it on your tattoo, and I like to try to give an inch of overhang all the way around, just because as you sleep, as you move, as you change your clothes, the ends will peel up a little bit, and you want to make sure that it doesn't expose the tattoo, and you also want to make sure that it's sealed from the outside world, because that's the whole point of this method, is it's just a clear film that protects your tattoo from whatever. I like to give it an extra inch all the way around, and I also like to overlap any seams by about an inch, just for that same purpose. As you get dressed and undressed, it starts to peel and you don't want to expose it to anything. So when you go to put it on, I like to undo the little small piece of the paper backing and put it on, and then use that to kind of secure it while I undo the back backing and kind of smooth it out with my other hand. And I like to kind of treat it like it's a window cling or a car sticker, as opposed to just kind of slapping it on there, just because I want to make sure that I'm smoothing it as I go the best I can to try to avoid any wrinkles or bubbles. Those are pretty much inevitable, so if you get wrinkles or bubbles, you're totally fine, don't worry about it. But I just like to try to keep it nice and smooth as I go up, and then you just crack the backing again and peel it off. It can feel a little bit tight and almost a little bit painful when you have the backing on, just because it's so firm and so like unforgiving of the curvature of your body that it really feels like it's sucking it in. And then it can feel a little bit touchy as you're peeling that backing off, but once it's off it feels totally fine and you totally forget about it. But you just keep doing that all over your tattoo, make sure it's completely covered, and then you can leave it on for 5 to 7 days. You don't need to wash it or apply ointment to it or anything weird like that. Once the wrap is on, it basically takes the dry healing method of just keeping it clean and letting it do its thing and adding a layer of protection to it. So this way you don't need to worry about jeans or harsher materials or dogs licking it or somebody kicking you in your sleep. Like, all of that is pretty much taken care of as far as the sanitization goes, which is why it's my favorite method, especially for traveling and planes. Planes are disgusting. Planes are the worst. And so it's easiest to just have something protecting it from the elements. And then after you take that final layer off, once your tattoo is pretty much entirely healed, or at least the majority of it is healed, I put Aquaphor on mine. You can put whatever tattoo healing lotion that you use. I just use Aquaphor, a nice thin layer after you've washed it, and then you just heal normally, traditionally from then on. What's nice about this method is I don't really get scabbing at all. I'm sure underneath it's pretty grody, but I have never really had an issue with big scabs. My skin is a little bit flaky by the time that I take the wrap off, but no big scabbing. All of my line work's intact, so it's not like scabs are being ripped off when you take the wrap off, and it's all been in really good condition. So that's really exciting and nice because, again, I travel for a lot of my tattoos, and getting a touch-up or having the original artist fix it at all can be impossible sometimes, nearly impossible. So that's something to keep in mind as well. As far as pros and cons of this method, one of the biggest pros is that you can kind of just forget about it. When you first have like 1 or 2 tattoos, it can be super, super exciting to heal them because, like, oh my god, I have a tattoo. But especially for me, as time goes on, I've noticed that it becomes a little bit more of a nuisance. I'm not a big fan of actually getting tattooed. Like, I love traveling for it, I love being in the shop, I love talking to the artists, but I'm a huge baby and getting tattooed is like not my thing. And then as far as healing afterwards, traditionally I would have to wear like soft leggings the whole time as opposed to my jeans, that kind of stuff, and for work that just doesn't slide. So having that extra layer of protection on the tattoo helps with that as well. Another big pro of using a tattoo wrap like Second Skin is you don't really get scabbing. I don't get scabbing for the tattoos that I have not healed this way with. I've gotten a lot of scabbing, and it's more in line with what I feel like a lot of people experience with their tattoos, like the really big, thick, weird looking scabs. I don't get any of that with the wrap, or at least I don't have to deal with any of that with the wrap. So that's like saved my tattoos. All of the ones with the big scabs just inevitably need touch-ups, whereas the ones that I've healed this way are pretty much perfect, which saves you money and saves your sanity. So cons, I mean, it's a little bit expensive to get the Tegaderm, which is why I recommend that if it's not supplied to you from your artist, that you just use it for the majority of your healing, instead of taking it right immediately after you get tattooed, weeping in the Tegaderm, and then putting more on. I hope you found this video helpful if you're trying to figure out what method you should use to heal your tattoos, or if you were just recommended something like Second Skin or Saniderm by your artist and you have no idea what you're doing with it. Here you go. I hope this helped. If you have any questions about how I heal my tattoos or any other questions about my tattoos, leave those down in the comments below. I'd love to go through and answer them. Also be sure to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content from me. I definitely have some more tattoo content coming up, And I also am a dog trainer, so I have some of that going for us as well. Super interesting combo if you're interested in checking that out. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.